up, everybody? This is Sports Goofs number 115, 115. I'm Francisco, joined by just my buddy Charles. Andrew's not here for whatever reason. We don't know. We have no idea. He hasn't given us a reason.
He's attempting the Jimmy John sandwich, I'm telling you.
Oh,
that's my theory.
Maybe he's processing it. Maybe he's trying to get
he made me... I actually had Jimmy John's yesterday because of him.
Oh.
Like what I wanted for lunch, and I didn't get the gargantuan. I just got the bootlegger club, same thing he got, which I think is one of my favorites. But yeah. So subliminal messaging,
it works. Working. Non-sponsors work, man. They do work. Yeah. They really do.
Yeah. Andrew's basically a leader as it is, so
yeah, that's true.
We can take this into account.
Yeah. So yeah, we got sports. We got things going down. Things are happening. Yeah, with Andrew out, usually means me and Charles go off the rails a lot. So be prepared for one of those episodes, folks.
Would you even say that we're structured? Because I haven't really prepped anything. I know what I want to talk about.
I got the NFL stuff because I labeled this Bandwagoning 101 because, it's great feeling good about teams that you cheer for. And now that I'm a Cincinnati Bearcats and Carolina Panthers fans, I'm feeling really good about football season now. This is great. Look, I don't really condone bandwagoning if you're really egregious about it, where it's like, okay, well, the Bucks are champions. I'm a Bucks fan now. No, you have to have suffered long enough to the point where it's like, all right, we'll allow it, right? And I'm a Florida State Seminoles and Miami Dolphins fan. I think I've suffered enough. So it's been years.
Suffered so much.
Look, I know I've seen my Seminoles win a national championship. At the very least, that has happened in my lifetime. But the Dolphins, yeah, I think I've suffered enough to at least follow another team in the NFC for one season. And who knows? Maybe this is the start of a beautiful relationship between me and the Carolina Panthers.
Would you say that you and Sam Darnold are both having a resurgence of faith in football?
Yeah, we both are leaving shitty teams and finding the love for the sport again. That's what it's all about, right? I mean, we can get into it. Let's jump into the NFL because that's what went down.
Tell me how this transitions to your bandwagoning. It's been what it seems like a successful experiment on the NFL.
My first week as a bandwagoning fan of the Panthers and the Bearcats has gone well. It has gone very well. All right. And
to defend you, you are not bandwagoning onto a winning team or a team that made a finals. You're bandwagoning on a team that went 6-10 last year,
something like that. Well, look,
like that.
Yeah, but there was you had McCaffrey and all that stuff, and now you got Darnold.
But he was hurt.
That's true, but it's not like the Panthers didn't have pieces. It's not like, and they're in the NFC South. Yeah, the Bucks are there, but Saints are in their transition mode, and the Falcons are the Falcons.
Plus, you want to support the Panthers because you get to beat up on Jameis a little bit.
Yeah.
For kind of besmirching all that is Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, he's not ours anymore, so screw whatever. It doesn't matter to me no more. But yeah. So week 3 NFL. I was a bit of a glutton though, a glutton for pain, Charles. I did watch the Miami Dolphins. Last game.
Both did.
Oh, you saw it too, and I was watching it with Doug.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, so I live text with Doug during Dolphins football games. It's fun. It's probably the most fun part of a Dolphins game is us trashing the team as we're watching the game.
So are you two like the Hispanic Walter and Statler?
It might
Muppets?
It might as well be. In fact, that's probably a great idea to do on the channel. Is literally just do that for an entire game. Because, man, I have notes here for our show sheet here. My note 1 is LOL. That's what I've written here.
Yes.
All right, Charles.
Concur.
The safety. Did you see the safety?
I did see the safety.
Jacoby Brissett to Jalen Waddle. Dolphins, what, on the one, maybe even literally
Mhm.
on the freaking end zone,
Essentially, a screen without labeling it a screen.
a screen with a incredibly dumb pass that looked almost like a lateral. It probably could have been a lateral, and he threw it high. That was another thing. So there is just absolutely no time for Waddle to even move. I don't know what went on. Like, I don't even make that mistake in Madden.
I don't make that mistake in Madden either, but I can. Little background: Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby only played like sparingly that one game for the
He's
Patriots
moved
when
around.
both
No, he's
Garoppolo
yeah,
and no, well I know, but then he went to the Colts. And remember, he went to the Colts and it was a starter because it was the best thing that you had available. It was basically taking your cousin to prom,
yeah,
and then came the Andrew Luck determination. But when Luck was back, he was benched. When Luck retired and they went for Philip Rivers, he was
yep,
benched.
yep.
And when they knew they were going to go for, like, look, I believe Jacoby Brissett could beat out Jacob Eason and maybe Sam Ellinger. But when they were like, do we want crappy Carson Wentz or just a fully healthy Jacoby Brissett? They knew what decision would they make. So when he was signed as a backup, it's like you're getting a person with experience, but the same logic could be said about getting, like, to bring you up another Dolphins horror story, Trent Green, who
Oh
was
God.
maybe just not the right
Oh
person,
God.
and that was Cam Cameron. And that was like, he's our starter. Brian Flores is a little different, but
Yeah.
it's foreseeable to say that he is at least going to be your starter for the next 4 games. I know Tua is on IR, but really with fractured ribs, man,
Yeah.
just 4 to 5, man,
Yeah.
just be
He's
out.
gone.
And then
Yeah.
it's an indictment of management because Tua wasn't even your guy to begin with, I feel, and they could at least have like better options. And there is some good quarterbacks out there. A certain 31-year-old African American whose son's name is Chosen, who I think is getting the raw end and the raw dog deal. Personally speaking, his name's candidate, where you're just avoiding either overpaying a free veteran or just not wanting to keep the certain people. I think it could also be debated that, yeah, hindsight's 2020, but not even letting out Fitzpatrick was a smart move because at least there was consistency. Yes, Fitzpatrick's hurt. I know this, but Jacoby, it wasn't as if he was going to inspire. So he made that little
Mm.
screen short pass
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Waddle, and we're all just like, ah.
Hold
It's a Gruden team that is
on.
unlikable.
I'm gonna. Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, I mean,
The Raiders are not likable. I like Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr because everybody seems to hate Derek Carr, which makes no sense to me. Um, yeah, I like Darren Waller because he got big baby Bessos last year. Sometimes I like Jace Jacobs, but I don't like any. I don't even like their GM and Mike Mayock, who clearly
hold on. I'm looking.
doesn't do anything.
Hold on. I'm looking. Hold on. I'm gonna read what me and Doug were texting to each other in the game. Okay, so the game, it starts out. I send a picture of my TV saying I'm a glutton for pain. Doug's like, I told myself I wasn't gonna watch, and yet here I am watching while wearing a Dolphins shirt. Then I texted
Yeah,
him a gif of someone putting on clown makeup.
yeah.
Then Jacoby Brissett, he's not Lamar Jackson confirmed because he was trying to run and he's just he. I mean, look, the dude's huge. He's big. He was pretty hard to take down. Compared to Tua, who's made out of glass. Yeah, well, not even glass. I think glass can be a little tough. Gosh, what is he made of? Ceramic? There we go. Something that breaks upon. He's like
I
a
would even
pot.
say
He's like a pot in the Legend of Zelda. He just
I mean,
completely
like
breaks.
Peyton Manning's neck. That's what it is.
Oh god! And then Doug was like, "Who needs offense when you have defense?" Because the defense got a pick six. That was great. That was a nice start. And I was like, 2002 Buccaneers or the Ray Lewis Ravens didn't need great offenses. And suddenly the Dolphins are up 14-0, and I'm telling them to stop giving me hope. And lo and behold, the Dolphins did that for me. They stopped giving me hope later on. And Doug posited, imagine we go 3-0 in Tua's absence. And I was like, Brissett the rest of the way, trade for Watson, LOL. And then Charles, the safety happened. And I was like, what the fuck was that? I literally typed that out. Doug's like, why the hell would you pass laterally into the end zone? 5 Reasons Sports down here in South Florida, they were like, that's the equivalent of the Florida Panthers defenseman intentionally sending the puck in front of his own net. And just, yeah, on an empty net, right into a defender's stick. Yep.
I think it's like the equivalent of swinging for it when you're like ahead of the count and it's going to be a walk, but it's like a high pitch and you still do it because that's something you often see Aaron Judge do.
Yeah. Yep. And then it was 14-12, and I'm like, they're gonna lose. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they're gonna find a way to lose the game.
And boy, howdy,
I stopped watching the game once the second half started. I went out, went on the scooter with my niece and my nephew, had a good time, just enjoying life, enjoying being a Carolina Panthers fan, Charles. Just not letting the Dolphins take down my weekend.
You're like, they beat up Davis Mills on Thursday.
Not letting exactly. Not letting the Florida State Seminoles ruin my weekend either. It was nice. It was good to get. I touched grass. Okay, everybody. Sometimes you just need to go outside and touch grass. And
be one with nature.
Yeah, and I come back. Maybe I don't know, an hour or so. I don't know. Yeah, later. Dolphins game, and Doug is like, dude, something's happening. And I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. Missed extra point by the Raiders. Dolphins tie the game. This happened last year between the Dolphins and the Raiders in Vegas. And I'm like, this ain't gonna happen again. This can't happen again. Is this gonna happen again 2 years in a row for the Raiders? But, no. The Dolphins' offensive line is terrible. They got back, contending field goals, but then the Raiders just made it back down the line. Defense was probably gassed by that point for the Dolphins, and they lost. I'm like, okay. Alrighty.
It was going to be a tie, too.
No, it was like, what, a minute and a half left in the game? They just need to hold out for a little bit more?
Derek Carr just be like, oh, hey, Henry Ruggs, fuck.
Yeah, and then that was the end of the game, and I'm, it's just, this is, I think there was like a tweet from, Freddie's on, by the way. What's up, Freddie?
What's up, Freddie?
There was a tweet from, I think, Pro Football Reference saying that in the entire history of them keeping track of football stats, that there had never been a safety that did not involve at least a fumble or a turnover of some kind, or at least a rush or something like that, a running play. Like, this was the first time that there was a completed pass that involved a safety. Oh, man. That's funny.
Worse safety than Kyle Orlovsky's little... Or Dan Orlovsky's
with the Lions?
And Dan Orlovsky, yeah. Where at least he just kind of forgot his footing, which in the heat of the moment, I kind of get it. Compared to Jacoby being like, I'm at the half-yard line to the end zone.
I'm just thinking, why would you pass at all? First off, people are like, well, Gesicki was open down the middle, so he wasn't even looking that way, so that was a mistake. But usually you run the ball, right? Just run the ball. Get it up to the 4-yard line. And they were up 14-0 by that point. It wouldn't have been that bad for them to punt and see if they could stop the Raiders, even if they scored or they got a field goal. It wouldn't have been that bad. But you get the safety, and suddenly now they got momentum. They actually have a crowd this year in Vegas. So that was Miami's first overtime loss since 2012. And, which is, I guess, the one good thing that the Dolphins have been able to do in these last few years. Oh, yeah, Jalen Waddle had 12 receptions for 58 yards, which is the third fewest for a player with 12-plus receptions since 1950.
Well, you called him replacing Jarvis with a new Jarvis, and I find that ironic because he's just a speed guy, so sure.
Yeah.
Allegedly he's a speed guy.
So yeah, that was the Dolphins. That was they embarrassed themselves as always. But now my new team, Charles, the Carolina Panthers. All right,
You guys got some boo boos though.
I know, I know, but look,
Baby boo boo, white hamster that is Christian McCaffrey. He's
I
gone for
know
like 5 weeks or 3 weeks.
that's gonna suck. But maybe we can. Maybe the revival of Sam Darnold will keep us up there, man. 300 plus passing yards in his first 2 or 3 games with the Panthers. He only did that
Got a lot
four
of picks.
only did that 4 times with the Jets in 38 games. All right, he's got a 3-game win streak for the second time in his career. You know, they're 3-0 for the first time since they went to the Super Bowl in 2015. They have 14 sacks, which is the most they've ever had in team history in their first 3 games. So the defense is up there. They're doing some things.
Their
Okay.
backup running back name is Chuba Hubbard or whatever his name is. I think that's just really cool because I
So
think Hubba Bubba. I like nicknames for my players.
and they beat Houston, which is it's always fun to see the Texans
It
lose.
helps me
Yeah,
in the weakest division
that's true.
besides the NFC East.
So
I'm a fan. Matt
yeah,
Rule, the only competent college coach since Harbaugh came into the game from Stanford. A lot of good things happen in Carolina.
yeah. So yeah, there's there. So I'm feeling good being a Panthers fan. But Charles, you're feeling good being a Titans fan, aren't you? Did we get a Henry Handy? I think
We did.
Yeah, I think we
28
did.
carries, 118 yards,
Wait.
no touchdowns, but it's okay. We were able to win without A.J. Brown, who strained his hamstring, so he probably won't be playing next week. Very interested if we try to get back Des Fitzpatrick, who is our fourth receiver our fourth round pick this year in the draft, who we cut and then put on the practice squad. Because right now it's just Racy McMath and Julio, but Julio only had 4 catches for like 47 yards. I think he was held out for most of the fourth quarter, so really upsetting fantasy football people. Josh Reynolds is on the IR, so I need to know what's happening, but some people stepped up. Tannehill threw more picks than I liked, but it doesn't matter because it's winning the game.
And
And
you won
he had three
against a
touchdowns
division
and 2 picks.
opponent. That's true as
And
well.
that was such a gimme, though. And some people might say, oh, it's such a close one. And when people who say that, when they undermine their opponents, that means they actually don't watch the Titans and they don't listen to the show. Because if you listen to the show, Charles has been saying that our defense is trash. Our defense is Charles trying to basically go against gym leaders in Pokemon Sword and Shield, which he's playing right now, without having at least a couple of Pokemons over level 55. That's why we grind it, baby. Our defense is not good. We have some guys, but I think we just put Rashad Weaver on the IR, so that's concerning. But our corners, we're not 100% there. Caleb Fairley, and then the other guy, I don't know his name, forgot it. They're on the IR. We're hoping on a 32-year-old Janoris Jenkins. He's as old as me, kids, leading the way along with his name's not Lofton, but I forgot his name. Oh, Fulton, the former LSU player. So that's not like the best, most comfortable thing. D'Amico Autry is doing fine, but Dupree's kind of busted up a little bit. So, but we won, and we won against a division opponent, and Jacksonville's never winning a game this year unless it's against us. So we're there, and then Houston lost, and we beat the Colts. So it might be a 1 or 2 game lead in the division, but it feels like 5 because I look at that team and I'm like, I look at everybody else in that competition. I'm like, all right, we can go 9-8, probably win that division. I think the Colts are stupid. That's how I'm going to start this thing. I think it really shows a lack of faith and foresight into whom they plan, how they plan their whole thing to go on. I feel bad for Carson Wentz. He's just going out there to just fight the stigma of being injured, but I have
Yeah.
sprained my ankle before playing basketball, and I was just immobile for
Yep.
such a long time. And this guy had a double sprain, and I blame the trainers too, because there's some very, very good athletic trainers on the team and coaches for those teams, and there's some that really don't care because explain to me this, Francisco. When you have to drop back 40, 50 times in a game because you're playing from behind, and that's also dropping back and trying not to get hit by 300-pound men, and you have 2 sprained ankles. What is the high risk of re-injury or exacerbating the injury? Relatively high.
Yeah.
You would agree with me.
No,
So
yeah.
who gave this go-ahead? And I like Frank Reich for all intents and purposes, or Frank Reich for all intents and purposes. I think he's a very brilliant coach who's been dealt a bad hand. But is no one just saying this is a guy that not only has a history of injuries, but we've invested $120 million in dead money, basically, to kind of take into it. And we want to jeopardize that to beat the Titans? You really couldn't just take the game plan of just going with Jacob Eason and just running the ball with Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, who wants to be traded. I think Miami would be a good, setup. But what do I know? It's kind of tough to get running backs in the middle of the season or even the beginning of the season because if no one learns the playbook, it's over. All these little things, and
I wouldn't trust Dolphins offensive coordinators with the running back because the one that we have now, we don't even utilize them the right way. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah. It doesn't even matter who we get. To be honest,
they're just taking. I'm going to be facetious to Miami for a second, if I'm allowed to. They just want to kind of put a guy who wasn't even effectively drafted and just say he's a starter and look what we can do. We don't need first round or second round picks to make noticeable players. Plain and simple, that's what it feels like. But I'll take that. And also the other upside of what was good about this week, Francisco, because we were having times when my hate train continues for Seattle Seahawks. That's right. If you didn't listen to last week, I have pushed to the side my hatred of Aaron Rodgers fraud. People want to call him the GOAT. You know who's the GOAT? Devontae Adams. Jesus Christ. That man was seeing quadruple and still catching some stuff. And Kyle Shanahan helped them because they just went soft in the middle. I digress. But we have put my disgust of Aaron Rodgers for the last 2 years onto the back burner, and we're on full on the Seattle pain train.
Yep.
And it was great because Kirk Cousins, the quarterback that everybody always says is overrated, but everybody's full of crap because if their quarterback went down, they will want him as a safe bet for the most part. It's really like the Andy Dalton effect, but like
look at this. He's got let's see, he's a sixth player over the last 25 seasons with a 70+ completion percentage, 8+ touchdowns, and 0 interceptions in his team's first 3 games of the season.
You know why people don't like him? Because he's Mr. Checkdown, and I'm like, have you seen Zach Wilson? Do you not want Mr. Checkdown? Would you compare? But they just flummoxed Seattle. They're like, oh, you have Tyler Lockett? Overrated. You have DK Metcalf? He's just a wide route guy, and he has a great body. That's it. Oh, you have Russell Wilson? Well, guess what? He's a Keebler elf, and I don't like Keebler cookies. I'm an Oreo man. All right? I'm an Oreo man. Get the hell out of here.
But he's a Yankee.
Who cares?
Goes to spring training every year.
Sure.
Wastes everybody's time.
Listen, you're talking to Mr. Pro Hater of Yankees. So, like, that makes it even more so. I didn't even contemplate that because you're not even a two-way player when you're 32 or 31. Bring it back. So, they lost to a team that was 0-2. Really, they could be 3-0 if they didn't have certain things going their way, such as going wide right against the Cardinals, another fraud. But it felt good for the pain train to continue. So it was very successful for me in my high spirits of hating everybody in football. Because if you can't, for anybody out there who are New York Giant fans, Detroit Lion fans, if you have to find an existence and you don't want to go to a second team, jump aboard the hate train. It will keep you through. Be petty like me. Just don't hate the Jets. It's too easy. Boy, Zach Wilson's looking like a bust. I know the offensive line's bad, but he looks bad. Robert Saleh doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. He looks like just a figurehead for a guy that got hyped up a little bit too much on the whole idea. It's like, oh, yeah, that defensive unit was so good. There's a lot of people who are good defensive units. I'm going to throw you a name of a coach who's probably the ultimate, like, we hired him because he was a good coordinator and we maximized his potential, and that's it. Brian Billick. For those who don't remember.
Yeah, with the Ravens.
Billick. Yeah, with the Ravens, and goes from there, and then you achieve nothing. I mean, he got a Super Bowl. That's fine, but that unit was, well, maybe because it's really up to Oz. He was probably the best GM of all time. They had to go with Trent Dilfer, but he couldn't do anything with Kyle Bowler.
Yeah, but with that defense and whatever, I mean, sheesh. They got one, and they faced the New York Giants, which was the perfect team for them, so yeah.
I feel like that's what every defensive coordinator who is just known for being a defensive coordinator that's who they're like. You know how Dexter from Dexter's Locker had Albert Einstein? That's literally who I think they would go to. Would be like Brian Billick from back in the day. But just as every offensive coordinator would just shine to Mike Martz. Granted, Mike Martz never won it as a head coach, so he got there to the end, but only one was a coordinator, if I recall, before what's his name, Dick Vermeil, stepped down. Bringing it back because we were going down like roads of people's names who they didn't know from 20 years ago. The hate train's good, but Robert Sala's not looking good. Zach Wilson's and Mike LaFleur is looking like Mike LaFraud, just like his brother, Mike LaFleur. You took Corey Davis, and remember when Corey Davis left? And I'm like, I ain't gonna miss you because I didn't want to invest that big money into you. Go ahead and have him. He's trying, sure, but yeah, your Mekhi Becton's on the IR because he's got concussions. That's concerning when you're a lineman and you're getting paid to get hit all the time.
Let's take the hate train on over to Pittsburgh.
We hate Pittsburgh. Oh boy. You know what it is, Francisco? I love being right about it. It is the greatest pleasure. And when we said, and I offered you 3 teams to go on the hate
train. The Steelers wasn't. It was more Ben Roethlisberger. Than anything else.
Well, but you know what? I'll kind of hate the Steelers too.
Okay.
Stop.
All right.
Don't mock me with your consistency. Don't mock me with your consistency. Don't. You've had a lot of great players leave, and they went to suck elsewhere, but you don't care about guys. You play favoritism. Le'Veon Bell left. Plaxico Burress left. Antonio Holmes left. You see Antonio Brown. But guess what? 2 of them won Super Bowl rings, so I'm going to comment on that. There's some pettiness. You're not new. You're organically bleh. You're like the rebirth in life, but there's nothing fancy about you to me anymore. In that sense, because it was stingy defense. We're going to pay TJ Watt. We're going to do all this stuff. But then you let all your offensive line go. You got caught being played on the steel curtain. That's what it was. And I'm not saying don't pay TJ Watt, but you should have paid that O-line because y'all couldn't block for the runners last year. And then wasting a first-round pick on Najee Harris didn't get you anything, especially since Najee Harris, just like another first-rounder, Mac Jones, I felt could have been taken the second round, unless necessity, but I think he was the only first-round running back taken. Oh, besides Travis Etienne. Taken by whom? The Jaguars, who didn't need him. So, there we go. But Roethlisberger, look at that ass. He's looking like Dunkin' Donuts when you want Krispy Kreme donuts. Just a bad. You saw the handoff, and he fell, right? Yep. You saw that?
Yeah.
Oh, his stats are bad. It's not even the...
Oh no, he's done, man. He's done. He's been done. He's not Tom Brady. He doesn't have the body for that. Heck, Urinating Tree calls him Captain Fat Fuck.
I love the fact that Urinating Tree wants him out too. I don't listen to much of him because it's like I don't have enough time in the day to just kind of go in between any kind of subscribers, but I get the bits that you guys have me in. It's great.
Oh yeah.
But I think there's a lot of Pittsburgh because the problem is you really missed out on your potential. And when you say, hey, who do we have next for Ben? Mason Rudolph ain't the answer. Josh Dobbs is out. You had, what was the other guy? The other one that wasn't good before Mason Rudolph. And now you have Dwayne Haskins, who obviously isn't going to successfully get there. So, and the problem is with Roethlisberger, they're going to win games. So they could end up winning games where they're stuck with the whole middle of pack QBs to choose from. And is it going to be like, oh man, we're going to have to pick Blaine Gabbert? Are we going to have to pick a Jake Locker effect? Are we going to have to pick this guy? Or are we going to be residual to just Jordan Love, kind of 32, when he's not ready whatsoever? I don't know. Because you're not going to go and be bad to tank. That's for the Giants to do and for the Falcons to do.
No, still not going to do that.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you really going to do? Because you're going to be running in with the next Tommy Maddox. And listen, if the Steelers really cared, they would be like, all right, fine, this is your last scope, but you'd be looking at like a Cam or somebody to kind of go with if you don't want. Because I don't think they want to invest.
You need a bridge. They need a bridge, basically.
Well, I don't think they want to invest in first round QB. So that's why I'm bringing this hate, because I'm bringing on this hubris that they have done for
That's
years.
what they mean. That's what I mean. They need they're looking for a bridge more than anything else.
But the thing is, with quarterbacks, they haven't had it because they were used to Roethlisberger for so long.
I don't know. I mean, well, they got to. I mean,
Byron Leftwich.
They got to. I mean, it's time. You don't want a Dolphin situation where they're not ready for Roethlisberger to be retired. They got to do it now. In fact, it's time, man. It's been time. Let's go.
It's too late. And the thing is, with me, with the little bit of college football that I have been watching, I don't see a single QB that I'm like, yeah, this is a first-round draft pick. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been there yet. Definitely not in Bama. There's nothing Clemson's producing because, can we say it together? Dabo Sweeney is a fraud! He's so bad. I love it. Exposed is the word we're going to use here. And I don't know enough on Georgia and Auburn to kind of like say, hey, these are guys there. So Oregon, maybe. But I don't know if that guy's in a draftable year. So they might have really just screwed themselves over because remember, they gave him a 2-year contract for like 50 million. It's just no bueno. Bring it all back. It's a good thing to hate them and to hate Big Ben. So I'll take it.
Let's see. Where's the. Okay, well, unfortunately, the hate train can't stop in Jacksonville between the Cardinals and Jaguars, but we can hate on them as we're passing by, right?
Oh, I'm gonna hate on. I'm gonna throw that shade. I feel bad for Trevor Lawrence.
I mean,
because he has a fraud
as a
coach
coach.
in Urban Meyer, and as coordinators, they have nothing. And like, I don't know if the pieces they have on that offense is like Robinson is being used as if he was an undrafted rookie compared to last year, who broke 1,000 yards. Now he's just playing like a guy who's just undrafted and doesn't know anything. Etine's out. Chenault, I tried my best to say his name right. I liked him coming out of college, but Urban Meyer's just like slants, go deep, maybe a play action. Marvin Jones Jr., who I like, he was on my other fantasy football team. He's just there to be that veteran, get that cash money. Yeah. But it's just so bad all around. It's just very ass. And Urban's a fraud, and we don't like him. And you have to fire him, right? I'm hoping. The problem with the Cons is that they're super patient because they had Gus Bradley for so long and then Doug Marrone for so long. But can this franchise really tolerate a 2-14 record? Because they're going to be the Titans once. We both know this. But this isn't like where, hey, the Titans went 2-14. They went like 3-13 the following year because they had a grand scheme of plans. This is a team that has not spent money, blow the whole roster up, everything coming into it. So I'm like, And then there's the Arizona Cardinals. I am not a Kyler Murray guy. Every year, if you like fantasy football, you will like Kyler Murray.
Or Foodie Fantball.
Foodie Fantball, because that's what it feels like. Yes, Kyler can run. He can pass. He had that disgusting pick six. The reason why I would like the Cardinals, two names. DeAndre Hopkins. We love the Nuck in my house. And I'd still give me some AJ Green. The man did phenomenal things in Cincinnati. And, of course, my time with him when he was my fantasy football stuff, because that man was drafted every year when I did it like religiously. Him and Julio Jones was disgusting. I was dirty as that team. No one messed with me. I don't care about anything else because part of the problem is every quarterback's like a system quarterback, but he is really tailored to Cliff Kingsbury. And if Cliff gets fired, what are you getting out of Kyler? Because he still kind of panics and throws on the run kind of thing. That's where that pick six happened. And then two is like, what is his level upon replacement? I know we do WAR in a sense of baseball, and I don't necessarily am a fan of that analytic, but what is like, there's the seeing eye test when you see a quarterback being drafted, like, yeah, I know that guy's going to be good. And then when you get to them, like, actually making your team productively better, you've only gone up by 2 with Kyler. So as a rookie, you went like 6-10. Yes, he was better than Josh Rosen. I was always saying Josh Rosen already, so I'm going to stand to that. But then you're 8-8, and you plugged in a little bit more offense for him. Rondale Moore is a great guy coming out of Purdue, I believe. Freddie can correct me if I'm wrong on that. James Conner being a running back, maybe he's our lead. Maybe Chase Edmonds is. Depends. But it's not like they run the ball enough. That's not Kingsbury's side because it's so systematically set there that we're just hoping. Kyler Murray is like, Keeler Elf version of Lamar, the way they want to play it out. But I don't think it's going to work. And you really need to appreciate Lamar Jackson, Francisco, because you look at Kyler and you look at Lamar, and ideally, same person, same skills. Would you not say? Better coaching, though. I will give the idea of the better benefit of a defensive coordinator, but it's not as if Lamar had the best weapons when he won his MVP 2 years ago. I don't know if Marquise Brown was on that.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews was just they had Hayden Hurst that they were rolling out. I can't even give you names of Willie Snead. Whereas there's Kyler. I got arguably the second best receiver.
True. He's got Hopkins. He's got Green.
They don't have a tight end, but tight ends are in between. Rondale Moore is a good pickup. Trust me. And then they have Christian Kirksey. Don't forget him. And then, Larry Fitzgerald is going to come out of retirement if they're in playoff contention. And that's what I really think he's waiting for. Larry just won't say it. He's got to make sure that you're actually going to make it, and then he'll pop out because he's in contention. The guy's going to take it. It's the old play. I get it.
Or we could pull out Jerry Rice and just look for whatever. Just go team to team.
I think if he was really wanting to play for other team, I think he would just retire because he only knows one system. That would be Cliff's. But for me, I just don't see the Kyler thing. And I don't know if you like Kyler. I don't even know if you watch enough of him stuff. He's a great human highlight reel. That's why the highlight reel's made. But I'm talking about like wins and losses, man, because there is the negative of having that one more game on the season because you're going 8-8 last year. You missed out. Kyler couldn't get you the wins. The defense kind of fell out. Kyler got hurt. But to do this, just to go 9-8, because the NFC West is just stacked. And you look at who he played. Let me give you. I did real analytics on this because my paralegal likes to throw shade at me for my hate for Kyler. So there's some real stuff. First week, who did they beat? Oh, guess who? They beat the Titans were ass. Okay, I can tell you that right now. Like I already told you, the defense was bad. Who did they beat just now? The Jaguars. Ass. And who do they beat but not really beat? The Vikings.
Yeah.
So on paper, it is you benefited
and
from
they barely beat the Vikings. That was by 1 point. Now we saw that maybe the Vikings have woken up a little bit. Who knows? But yeah.
But so like convince me, Francisco. Convince me that Kyler is there. Convince me on that hate train. But there's that. And then there's one more hate train I'll give.
Was it next week? Let's see. Hold on. The Cardinals. They play against the Los Angeles Rams, a real team. Let's see what happens.
That's a team. That's a team that's frightening. This is not the Joe Montana goes to the Chiefs and just elevates the Chiefs just to be respectable kind of vibe of a veteran quarterback going beat out. This is like to bring up my own love. This is the year Steve McNair went to Baltimore and they went from being like a middling 5-11 straight to a 13-3 and then an AFC Championship game. Like, that's the monumental effect. Because I'm not going to say that the Rams are going to win a Super Bowl. A lot of people like to do that. Everybody seems to like to do that when one man trades in because it's still Matt Stafford at the end of the day, where he has still a high ceiling, but there was a season where he popped out like 5,000 yards and things happen, right? It is a team effort when you talk about this team is built to win a Super Bowl. I don't think Stafford was ever really the missing piece because say what you will about Jared Goff, but it's not that they were terrible with him. It's just he kind of like kept shooting himself in the foot for not being a smarter, more responsible player. But them Rams though, boy, are they scary. And then my last stop on the hate train, it's too easy. It's too easy, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Is that boy, howdy, New York Giants suck ass. I just don't get it. Like they have so many contracts to consider and pick up. Like I would let Saquon out, to be honest with you. Running backs are a dime a dozen. You always have that opportunity to draft some things there. Daniel Jones,
that's true.
He's played fine the last 2 weeks, but when you're playing against Atlanta and you're playing against, I don't even know who they lost to last week. That was, the football team, the Washington football team.
Yeah.
Playing well against them is like me winning a game of pickup at basketball at the park against like 13-year-olds. I'm just saying that I have no shame. You come at me, man. You know, I'll treat you, boy. Mess with me on the field. But I don't take pride to it. But the Maras, they were getting booed during Eli's Hall of Fame or Ring of Fame ceremony. So that was kind of going from there. I don't know, man. You need a plan. Gettleman's a weird kind of GM because he's drafted well and he's signed badly, but he still made those Panthers prominent. But that's just all questionable to Charles.
Okay. Well, that's our rundown. The NFL.
We went long on that. Look at that.
No, it was a lot to talk about. There was a lot to talk about.
Right. It's also because we're not really going to talk much about college football.
Yeah, and we started late too, so, that's fine. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about college football, whatever, Seminoles lost.
How did it feel being a Bearcats fan?
Oh, it felt good.
It is a bandwagon.
Beating Indiana on the road, it's nice having a team that can actually do things, It's nice.
Is there competent offenses?
I guess.
Do they have competent quarterbacks?
I'm still, relatively speaking to where I came from, yes,
I think that's why Andrew chickened out because he knew the Milton hate train was going to continue.
Oh
no! But let's be fair. I'm not going to let that go.
No, you're not.
No, because you have to acknowledge when someone's not playing well.
I mean, look, if he's done, he's done. Okay, great. He's, it's a miracle. His leg is put back together and he can walk and run and do all that stuff, but he's probably lost something. He probably lost something. All right, so
He doesn't even have also
Go
the best guys.
finish your degree, get a job someplace, become an insurance broker. I don't know. I don't know. Probably come from, I don't know where he comes from money. I have no idea. Maybe he's a trust fund baby. He'll be good. He'll be fine. He'll find a job. Go to UCF. Be a athletic person. I have no idea. Athletic.
Maybe like Andy from The Office, always talking about Cornell and how great Cornell was.
So there you go. All right. Let's see. Well, I guess usually we go off on our tangents, right? So, Charles, we had a Nintendo Direct because we might as well talk about it right now.
We had well, we are a gaming channel sometimes.
Podcasting.
I mean,
we usually when Andrew's not here, we'll go off into that and we
always want to open into esports. We've had a good discussion about esports as a possibility of the future. Remember?
Esports like Splatoon?
Like
Splatoon 3?
Right?
Possibly. Looking good. New stuff. I'm excited.
Speaking of another 3.
Bayonetta 3. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, hey, look, it's fine. Look, Charles, it's happening. Let's see, they actually showed gameplay for you.
Can we call that an underrated series? Is it fair? Because 2 was just delightful. I had no idea what the hell was going on, and I found it to be extremely delightful.
I like spoilers, but I like how they kind of made a looping timeline where it's like, oh, the first game moves into the second game. The second game actually calls back to the first one, and they just like, okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, but the third one looked good. Bayonetta's got her new look, I guess. She's got a new look.
How do you feel about the kaijus? Because I am super.
Oh yeah. No, that's it's like, oh, that was great. Oh, monster battles.
To give some insight for those who've never played Bayonetta, I want to say it's female Devil May Cry with much more craziness. With some Ninja Gaiden difficulty.
Yeah. Now adding a Godzilla monster mode to it, because why not, right? Why
also,
not?
highly replayable.
And that's the point of the game, actually, is to keep playing it, playing on easy mode and hard mode, and just get better at the combos, and just go to get upgrades. I mean, that's the whole point.
Fluid combat. Doesn't stall, stutter. Story kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't make sense, but you're not in those games fully for story. If you like Devil May Cry 5, you'll love the Bayonetta series. And I love Devil May Cry 5. That was a non-sponsor. Boy, that was such a fun game. I won't trade it in because of how much I enjoyed it. And I know on a rainy day I might dedicate 8 hours to go back on it again. I mean, I dedicated so much more, but I digress.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Bayonetta, yeah, that's great. I'm... Just being able to control the monsters is fantastic. I can't wait. And you got the different kinds of monsters, different kinds of demons and stuff. Oh.
And it seems like a wide-based level of destruction because you're in the city.
Oh, and it looks good. It's running silky smooth. Like that.
So do you remember in Bayonetta 2, and kids, they did redo it for the Switch.
Yeah.
And because if you did, I got the one that had both 1 and 2. For the price of just number 2 coming in. I think it was only like $30 for me when I got it because I don't pay full price or anything. But getting 2 games of it. But in number 2, I think it was like the second to last chapter when you're fighting the tanks because the tanks came rolling in. Or it was something. It was a form of vehicle combat that was so interesting. So it just reminded me of that on crack. You just want those fun set games. Like, just play it. It's really cheap. You can get it for the Wii U if you want it, but just get it on the Switch because now the Switch has the new fancy OLED that's out there, so you can get things in even more.
That comes out next month. Actually, I think it's launching alongside the new Metroid, which they showed off more of it this time for Metroid Dread. Looking good. I didn't see too much of that trailer because I don't want to spoil myself. I know it's a Metroid game, but I actually really like the series, and I'm actually super excited for this one. Like, really excited.
You're more about Metroid than I am. I think it's because I have a very love-hate relationship with Prime. Prime have a very love-hate appreciate for what it was, but without any evolution, we cannot succeed. And I think once I got to like the end of Echoes, I'm like, I'm out. And I have Corruption, which is the weirdest thing, and I never like played it past the 2 hours.
Really?
But I know. But also that was that time when I was about to jump into law school, so games were on a hiatus. But it's one of those things where they redid it for the Switch. I'd probably just get all 3 of them again and just give it a fair shake. Because who I was at 15 is different than who I am at 32. It's been 17 years,
Yeah, yeah, no, no, I love Metroid Prime, but no, the 2D Metroids. This is the first actual new one that's not
Yeah,
a
like
remake.
20 years, right?
Yeah, exactly, almost 20 years now. So it's got everybody all excited, and now we got this on an HD console. Like this is with a legitimate. The same people who did the Samus Returns on the 3DS, but now they got actual power to work with. It's gonna be great. Oh, it's gonna be really good.
And
I can see 15, 20 hours, maybe. I don't know. Sheesh, who knows how long this will
what
be?
people need to realize is this is the stuff that you want this Switch to be made for, the game wise. 2D scrollers. Like, I don't think they understand. I don't need this big AAA 3D action game that takes like 60 hours. You need something like MechWarrior 5, which is supporting
This
us
is
now.
this
Or,
is literally like this feels like, okay. What if the Super Nintendo had the power of the Nintendo Switch? This is what it feels like. This is what
precisely.
they would
It
do.
is exactly what the Switch would be for. And if you're going to kind of gravitate games towards that, I think that's an excellent rendition to have because a lot of my platformers, man, my indie platformers, I won't play on my PlayStation 4 or PS5. I want on my Switch because I feel it's just so ergonomical and perfect for it.
All right.
Yeah, I might lose a little bit in the graphical upgrade, but trust me, indie gaming, the highest I go to is 32 bits as it is. It's just more about the polish and the cell shading, so it looks good on my screen.
Yeah, but now we got a game that has the power of the Switch, backed by Nintendo, their own franchise. You know it's gonna be great. It looks good already. So, oh, speaking of platformers, Kirby with a 3D platformer for the first time ever.
Interesting.
Oh yeah,
I don't. You didn't play Star Allies. I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed Star Allies. Too easy though. That's my problem with every Kirby game. But what I like that Nintendo does that no other company seems to, whether it's Microsoft or Sony, I like that they make games I find cute and wholesome. Not everything needs to be murder, kill, death, revenge, or a 100-hour JRPG, Persona 5. I got it. One day I'll touch it. But something about something that can make me feel good. Like I played Yoshi's Crafted World. Remember, like 2 months ago, loved it. It was great. It was like a 7.5. I don't need to be anything more than that. It was cute. Coming after a heartache, we're lawyers. We have some hard stuff that goes on. Francisco gets people, get, sometimes I gotta get deported. I gotta deal with other stuff that comes into it. We like a good profession, but sometimes we need that mental health that kind of be happy. And there's something about seeing this big pink bubblegum inhaling people and getting their powers and being cute. And that screams something for Charles.
I just
Maybe I am too am a fat pink bubblegum that just inhales everything he gets around him.
I like the fact that this Kirby looks like they're gonna do some different stuff. First off, 3D platformer, first time that's happening. The rest of the
Very
games,
interesting.
they're 2D, but they're presented in 3D, but they're actually 2D. That's what all the games have been, like Star Allies or Return to Dreamland or 64. So we got
Everything's
that.
kind of been a
But
side screen.
but now we got an actual 3D platformer. He's like in an like a desolate abandoned island, like an abandoned city, like something horrible
It's basically
happened.
Last of Us in Kirby
Yeah.
World. Someone made that analogy on Twitter. I was cracking up because they're not wrong because there's a great mall scene
Yeah.
or mall chapter in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like I love like, oh, this would be awesome. I'm hoping they do some cool stuff with the powers and stuff. Maybe you can combine them.
Well, so can I
I'm
give you my theory of where he's at?
yeah. After I said this, like after
Yeah,
I'm hoping like, because Kirby games are easy, right? They're all easy. That's the whole
super
point.
easy.
And just you just chill to them for one. But I'm hoping because it's in 3D that adds to the challenge because now you got to deal with perspective and all that stuff. I'm not expecting Mario Odyssey type of platforming at all, but something on par with like Mario 3D World, anything like that. So I'm hoping that'll happen. But yeah,
So
what do you think he's at?
I believe it's a crossover to some, and you mentioned the game already of Mario Odyssey because of New Dog City.
That or Pikmin. Pikmin is also kind of like a
Yeah,
abandoned
but
Earth type of thing.
I looked at the art direction, and mind you, it's two different. Even though it's Nintendo publishing, it's two different creators.
Studios,
'Cause
yeah.
Nintendo Studios, thank you. But there was something about it that tipped the hand. I couldn't remember what it was from the trailer, but it was something I was like, this reminds me of like New Dog City and how Mario kind of seemed out of place, but in a good way.
Hmm.
And if they went with that, Kirby, he's just washed up somewhere. First off, the wash up thing is totally to me a straight up like homage to Link's Awakening, because that's literally
That's
how
true.
it stars
Yeah.
Koholt Island. So I think you're literally going to utilize Kirby as your multiverse, because what's sexy in the media world today for movies and
I
TV
mean,
shows,
kinda
everything's like a
is. Goes
multiverse.
in space, and then you can connect to different worlds from there, like space themed characters like Metroid and F Zero. But we still haven't gotten. God, they're never gonna announce an F Zero. Um, but I was expecting a second tier franchise. I didn't expect
You were
Kirby.
correct.
I thought Donkey Kong, because we haven't seen Donkey Kong in a bit. We haven't seen Donkey Kong in a bit. I know Retro's making freaking the new Metroid Prime, so they're busy with that. So I don't know if we'll see a Donkey Kong, but I was expecting something different. I, I just kind of hoping it was like a Star Fox or a Pikmin 4 is not ready yet, and you know they're making it, but yeah. Okay, but yeah, Kirby. Let's see what else. Monster Hunter, Rise, Sunbreak,
Eh,
expansion. I
eh.
don't play Monster Hunter. The next Smash, the last Smash character is next week. We'll see that.
Rumor is Sora. Like it's really building up there, and I think the only thing that tipped its hand because of Melody, that game that came out.
So I mean, if that would happen, they'd probably pair it with like, oh, all the Kingdom Hearts are on the Switch now. Probably that'd probably be like a thing. Animal Crossing will get its own direct, but I don't play Animal Crossing, so it doesn't matter to me. They showed off more of Mario Party Superstars, looking good. Uh, Knights of the Old Republic is coming to the Switch.
Okay,
Just
but
not the remake, but
yeah,
the old one.
like if you want, I mean, the publishing company, not the publishing, but there's Arc, I think, is the one. No, it's not Arc. There's one who just constantly does all the Star Wars remakes. They're the
Aspire,
ones who did
yeah, Aspire,
Aspire. Thank you.
yeah,
They're the ones who did Jedi Outcast 1 and 2 and
yeah,
Jedi Academy. So and Republic Commando. So they're in good hands. They
yeah. They
just kind
probably
of put
did
a little bit
Episode
of
One
everything.
Racer. Yeah, they're re-releasing all the old stuff, which is I get. It's nice to see. We're getting all the N64, PS1, Xbox, PS2, GameCube era stuff. So at
Yeah,
least
and
that's
it's
getting
a lot of
re-released.
stuff that you do, I think, want at the end of the
Disney,
day.
yeah. Oh no, Disney wants that because now, you get because what all the Star Wars stuff is all connected, right? So you get more of the lore for everybody out there. There you go. Let's. The Super Mario Brothers movie is gonna get real interesting.
Buddy.
We got
Let,
Chris.
let's. I'm gonna let you take the point on this one because this is near and dear to you.
All right, so we got Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor Joy as Peach,
Perfect.
Charlie Day as Luigi, and
Absolutely
I
perfect.
can't wait to see that. Jack Black as Bowser, which
No, Ron Perlman should have been Bowser on my deathbed.
Keegan Michael Key as Toad,
Perfect.
Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong,
Nope.
and then you had some other stuff. I think Fred Armisen's gonna be like Cranky Kong, I think, or something like that, and some other ones. Charles Martinet, who's the actual voice of Mario and Luigi and Wario, Waluigi, and Donkey Kong. He's gonna be in the movie, but just not playing the role of
Mario, yeah.
which I was okay. So I I honestly didn't think they would go this way. To be honest, I thought they'd make more of a almost akin to like a silent film in a way, where Mario speaks but very minimally, because like I don't know if you've heard Charles Martinet on YouTube when he actually plays as Mario at like events and stuff like that. And I can do a pretty good Mario impression myself. It's really weird hearing Mario say complete sentences in that voice, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, compared to Mickey Mouse, but Mickey Mouse has always been that way. But Mario, first off, it's hard to do the voice and say complete sentences. And if you listen to Charles Martinet do it, the longer the sentence that he's doing, the more it either turns into gibberish, Italian gibberish, or his real voice, and this happens to me too, his real voice starts to come in. Because you just can't keep it up for that long. That's what she said. Um, come on, man. I had to do that. Um, So it's a really hard voice to do. Luigi's voice is actually much easier. Wario's voice is easier. Waluigi's voice is easier to do. But Mario's voice is really hard to do, and it's really hard to keep up for that long. So I didn't, but I thought it'd be like in a silent film type of way. I didn't think they'd go all Hollywood with it, but they have. And now that it's happening, I'm for it, and I'm hoping you play Mario and Rabbids, right?
It's on the backlog, but I know
okay.
you've talked your love of it.
But you've seen like trailers and stuff for it, or the trailer for
Yeah.
the new one and stuff like that. Like the animation for that looks fantastic. It's great. But now that they've put this cast out there, I'm thinking there's no way they can do this in the current style that Mario looks. He's probably going to get some sort of redesign specifically for this movie, and all the characters too.
Which scares us.
It'll be stylized. Which is I'll give them a chance because one, we saw what Pokemon did with the realistic take on the Pokemon, which worked out really well.
Very good movie. Detective Pikachu, muy bueno.
So we saw that, and, Nintendo's been really weary with their properties, and we saw, okay, now Pokemon worked out. All right, let's do Mario now. And then we saw the backlash with Sonic, and then they changed them, and everything was good. So I would expect...
And it was a good movie.
Yeah, I would accept Illumination, who, does the Minions movies and stuff like that. Despicable Me, all that stuff. I think they do. Did they do Cloudy with the Chest of Meatballs? I don't even know. I forgot. But... They did a
lot of Dr. Seuss stuff.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they did all the Dr. Seuss stuff and stuff like that. They do very safe movies. A lot of criticism for it because they basically it's essentially a machine. Really, they churn out movies for animated movies, computer animated movies for kids. It's a machine now. They have a formula for it, which helps with their costs and all that stuff, but still, it's a machine. But hopefully with Miyamoto and stuff involved and a lot of, we got an A-lister and Chris Pratt there, we will...
That's debatable.
Well, I would say he is. We're going to get a movie that's competent at the very least. And hey, look, anything's better than the first Mario movie that they made, right?
You shut your mouth, man. I enjoy that movie. I haven't watched it.
People enjoy that movie
26
ironically.
years?
You enjoy it ironically, yes, but yeah.
You know me. I'd probably just... You're talking to the guy who literally was watching clips of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 when they go back in time Japan out of joy.
Oh!
Also to laugh
no, wait, hold on. No, we're talking the trilogy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's a whole different story, all right?
Yeah. But, so...
I love
John Leguizamo.
I love
and Bob Hoskins.
I love the intro for the second Ninja Turtles movie where
God,
they just run down the stairs and they're there. There's not much of an intro. It's just there they are.
They just come out kicking.
Yeah, just get to it. More movies should start like that instead of with a pan and all that stuff. Bad things happening. The hero is immediately there. We're here, everybody. Let's do it. Anyways. Yeah, I'm holding off judgment right now with the cast. I'm all right, let's see the style. Let's see the first trailer.
Here's my thing with the cast. This is my thing with the cast. I effed up and I played the game of if I had to cast people, who would I cast? I am perfectly fine with Charlie Day as Luigi, beyond belief, because he's gonna get that.
I was so surprised by it, but now that I'm like, yes, please, yes, please, Pepe Sylvia, please,
please. If you've seen, I almost call it Gundam, but it's not Gundam. Freaking Pacific Rim.
Okay.
His hyper character science. Doctor thingy, whatever the hell he was, kaiju expert, is kind of what Luigi would probably be anyway. Anna Joy Taylor, she literally looks like Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
Yeah, that works.
I'm not crazy about Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, but I'm only okay if you have Jonah Hill be Diddy Kong.
Yeah, or if he's...
I can have...
Yeah.
Because I want that dynamic. You already know my opinion on Bowser. I'm not a Jack Black guy. I'm gonna preface it with that statement.
Okay.
I am not, and a lot of people hate me for it. But Ron Perlman, I just like Ron Perlman. I just want to hear someone with gritty gravitas go for there. And then we get to Chris Pratt. And I don't dislike Chris Pratt. I like Chris Pratt. But when you look at like movies Chris Pratt has made, the only one that I've actively seen that I want to see is the Guardian movies and Jurassic World. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But
yeah, see, that's
anybody who no.
Generic action film.
I like to keep my brain cells. And coming into a lot of that, totally rad, dude. Yes, it is, Freddie. Ninja Turtles is always totally rad. Cowabunga. I messed up and I said, man, the perfect person to have voiced Mario to me, because I was flipping on and The Office came on, would have been Steve Carell. I literally can't get it out of my head now.
Okay.
It's like into it because there's that wholesomeness, that joke, and then that weird level of laughter. I don't like Steve Carell, so I was just stuck on it. I was terribly stuck on it. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna see it the same way as I saw Detective Pikachu and the same way I saw Sonic, because it has my intrigue, and I'm gonna have like the lowest expectations anyway. Because at the end of the day, it's just gonna be an animation film, so it's the same way of how we felt when we saw I saw Horde and Heroes of Who when I was like 20 on a date. So it's like sometimes that's the thing about movies, kids. You just go to movies just to see the damn movie. That's it, and that's what's gonna happen with the Mario movie. Yeah. I don't care about plot.
It's just gonna be dumb.
I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, it's just dumb fun.
It's just gonna be there. It's not. Gonna if it's made,
listen. If it's made by Illumination, it's just dumb fun. It's just gonna be like,
and
okay,
for the love of God,
get some laughs, if you have a fart Idris joke Elba here and there.
Exactly. If you have Idris Elba being Knuckles, which is awesome to me in Sonic the Hedgehog, then what I need predominantly, I just need Morgan Freeman to voice Yoshi, and I'll be the happiest person. That's fine. Just put in cool people to do things.
Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting, but that's what they want too, because Nintendo needs to thrive, so they're going to want to kind of whore out their franchises to a different kind of mainstream of that's non-game, so movies, TV shows. Yeah, we all see that.
Yeah, we'll see if this if it's successful.
We're doing a Sonic the Hedgehog show, right?
Yeah, if it's Netflix is going to be doing that. And if it's successful, maybe we'll see. I mean, we got a Last of Us series about to pop out now too. There's a Halo series coming out too. There's a bunch of stuff.
They had the Castlevania series on.
Yeah, Castlevania. Castlevania got announced on the Advanced Collection on the Switch. So
it's like I want to play that, but here's the problem. Sometimes it's good just to have the memories instead of trying to relive nostalgia again, because those things are wickedly a pain in the ass.
Well, hopefully they have the rewind feature. Well, they do, right? They have all the rewind features and all that stuff. So
they should. Ooh, bigger note. Since we're talking about rewind feature and what that's usually associated with, N64 Sega expansion. And yes, I'm gonna pay extra.
The N64 was rumored, but I was really surprised by the Sega one.
If you have Space Harrier, which I've harped to you before on it. It's 90 minutes of pure joy. Space Harrier 1 and 2 was one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. It is something that I have played so much on, and yes, I can pay $7
Welcome
for it.
To the Fantasy Zone. Yep.
Thank you. And I don't want to pay $7 for it because that's a Crunchwrap Supreme.
Have you ever played Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed?
No.
Okay. The final, I think there's it's called the Ages or the Race of Ages or something. It's like the last track in the game. And it's basically a love letter to there's just floating Sega Saturns and stuff all over the place. It's great. Arcade cabinets, and the theme for that track is Space Harrier. And it's a really good remix of that theme.
Space Harrier was kind of like the first open world running gunner to a degree.
Yeah,
it's not as open world as you think, but it gives the perception of open world running gun, the same way of how Sonic and those little ball levels, when you get the little magical ring, goes into it. And I loved it, man. Holy crap. It was just chef's kiss to me. So much enjoyment that came into my life coming into it. And for some reason, I'll pay a $20 annual fee to just play it as opposed to paying the $7, but it's because for 90 minutes, I want that Crunchwrap Supreme. You know how it is. You know how I am. I'm cheap, man. I'm not going to lie about it. But the N64 allows me to kind of get back into some of the games I never got around to, because when you're 10 years old and
All
games
right.
are $50, $60, it didn't happen.
Yeah, so
You don't
let's go down this list. All right, so
Let's do it.
this is the N64 games. All right, we got Super Mario 64. Look, I was okay. First off, I was surprised.
And here, my
Like,
dumbass bought Super Mario
we heard,
All Star.
yeah, we heard the rumors. I'm like, okay, N64, that sounds good. But I honestly thought Nintendo wouldn't do it. I thought they'd just go like Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and that'd be it. And then like they'd sell the N64 games individually. That's what I thought it would be, because like they knew they could hit on nostalgia that way.
Fair.
That's what I thought it'd be. Okay, well, yeah, because of Mario. Because I'm like, okay, they sold Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy for $60. Why wouldn't they just okay, $20? Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, $20. This and like I thought that would be that way, but lo and behold, we got this. I'm not complaining. We got rewind feature, save states. That's gonna be great. Online play too. Can do that with
Mario
friends.
Party OG.
Yeah.
If they want to go big and just go Smash, but I don't think they're ready for that.
I don't think Mario Party, because they're literally remaking that. But we got Mario 64. All right. Mario Kart 64. Great.
Diddy Kong Racing, baby.
Star Fox 64. Yoshi's
You know I'm
Story.
excited for that.
Yoshi's
I'm
Story.
excited for that too. Yeah.
Ocarina of Time.
Oh wait, Ocarina's coming out?
Yeah. Of course.
Charles never played it.
Good.
Because that was one of those hard ass games when you're 8 years old.
And now you got save states, so you'll be great. Save states and rewind. Mario Tennis. Dr. Mario 64, which I've never played and actually has a story mode, so that'll be fun. Sin and Punishment. I've never played that.
Ooh. Ooh.
I never played that. I know they re-released it on the Wii, but never played it. Win Back, which is like the lone third-party game on there, which like N64 didn't have many third-party games that were good. So hopefully we'll get some obscure stuff. They have some Castlevania games, Mega Man 64, which is Mega Man Legends. So hopefully we'll get some of that stuff just to get it on there, because there's no way they're gonna Capcom's never gonna resell Mega Man Legends. So we might as well just put it on this. Sega Genesis, Castlevania Bloodlines. Never played through that. The lone Castlevania game on the Genesis. Contra Hardcore. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
I remember that.
Countless times on every Sonic compilation. Echo the Dolphin. Played through that already. But there. Golden Axe. There's always Golden Axe. Golden Axe will always be re-released for Sega games. And Gunstar Heroes. Good game. Really good game. Musha. Another one. I haven't played through Musha. Phantasy Star 4. RPG. Never played through that, but it's a good one. Rystar. I've never beaten it. I've played through it, but I've never beaten it. So get a chance to finally do that. Shining Force. That's another like RPG for Sega. That's a good one. Shinobi 3. Shinobi's really good. It's a good game. Sonic 2, which is the only Sonic game so far on here. All right. Usually they always just put Sonic 1, but we got Sonic 2. Streets of Rage. And,
Always the Streets of Rage.
Yep. And Strider. So we got that. I never played through those two either. But I was really surprised Genesis came out, because they already have a Genesis compilation on the Switch that you can buy. I was really
And
surprised.
that's why I'm not really excited for it, minus Space Harrier, because even I have, for my 360, I have the Ultimate Collection, and I can play Space Harrier, but you have to like get a certain score on something in order to get it. So it's not a big incentivization for me, or incentive for me to kind of want to go and do those things and play it out. And it could be stronger. I think the upside is maybe Streets of Rage, but they also have Streets of Rage 4 they could just pay $50
Well,
for.
I've heard Streets of Rage 4. Yeah, people are like really praising Streets of Rage 4.
Well, that team is making the Ninja Turtles game.
Freddy's here.
That I texted you.
Let's see. Totally.
Shining Force 2 had the better soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I was really surprised Sega got that, but I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. I'll get it. I'll play through some of those. Yes, I haven't beaten some of those, and
I do care about the price, because I pay $20 for an annual subscription.
Yep.
I'll pay $30. I'm not paying $40.
Yeah, no, I don't think they'll. It'll probably be $10 more. I can't see them justifying $40 unless they add like Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance or something like that. That'd probably be the only reason why.
I will bend a little bit if they have Pokemon Stadium in there.
Well, they did announce other future games. So, Majora's Mask, F-Zero X. We're only going to be playing old F-Zero games. We're never going to play new ones. Mario Golf,
But
Pokemon.
you just have Rush too, so that's tough for Charles.
Mario Golf, Pokemon Snap, Kirby 64, Paper Mario, and this is the big one, Banjo Kazooie.
Ooh,
So,
rare. Well, I guess licensing rights goes to Nintendo, so it's fine.
well, no, and Microsoft owns it. That was the whole
But
big deal.
on the game itself for Banjo Kazooie, they can release that old product.
No,
I think.
no, they haven't. They can't. It's all my.
Interesting.
It's no, because Rare published Banjo, like they published it themselves. It wasn't Nintendo.
Oh, that's right. It's not Nintendo financed.
Yeah.
Same thing with Perfect Dark, so that's why
Yep.
Perfect Dark is being redeveloped by IDOS, I think, is doing it.
That's a reboot though. No, Crystal Dynamics. Crystal Dynamics is doing that. The one people.
Look, they made Lara
Tomb
Croft
Raider.
games.
Yeah,
I'll have faith in them.
yeah. So
Their Marvel game was not that good though.
yeah, so
From what I've heard.
they're was it? Well, Eidos is Crystal Dynamics, right? It's Square Enix. They own them, so it's all that. But yeah. So it's looking like we'll probably get Diddy Kong Racing if Microsoft and Nintendo are buddy right now. At this point,
Well, let's address the real game that we want.
let's see, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye.
No, I don't care about that.
Not
I want
GoldenEye?
1080. I want 1080.
Oh no,
Give me that shit.
no, that's gonna get on there. You'll get 1080.
Just
You'll get
put him
you'll get
up
Wave
list.
Race. You'll get Pilot Wings. There's not many N64 Nintendo games on. Literally, that's basically almost the entire library. The rest are Mario Party and Smash Brothers, and then what? The Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. I can't really name much more than this. There's not much more. Okay. Well, Charles, I guess we've gone on long here. So yeah. Oh yeah, and the controllers. They're releasing controllers.
$50 though.
$50 for an N64 controller. But hey, it's a brand new one, and the joystick's gonna work. So
You know what bothers me though? Like, to take it back to anybody who was born from 1995 is where I'll kind of limit this out. So we had to pay for a Rumble pack.
yeah, I think
Just remember that.
I think they will. It has to be included. I would assume that they will have
Yeah.
Rumble inside of it.
Oh, they'll already be into it, but it makes you really see how technology's evolved. He says as he's playing his Switch and Pokemon in
'Cause
the ninth generation.
It'd be really
or
weird if
whatever
they
it is.
built and are like, "Hey, if you have your old N64
But it's a
Rumble
total.
pack-
If this was the Wii,
oh,
if
they
this
would've-
was the Wii,
they would-
it'd be a total move.
They probably would have done it. Oh, get your memory cards and your N64 Rumble packs. If you want to play Pokemon Stadium, buy the transfer pack and get Pokemon Yellow on your Game Boy. Yeah. No, it'll be interesting. And I might justify the N64 controller, but the Genesis controller, that's
No, I don't
really
care
steep
enough
for
about
the and it's the 3-button one, not the 6-button one, which is
man.
even worse. So if they release like Street Fighter, you're screwed.
Do you remember the game changer was when you had to get the fighting arcade controller when you want to do either Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, or
Yeah, that was the whole reason Sega made a 6-button one, was because they. No, I remember because me and my sister.
Remember with the joystick one? You know what I'm talking about.
Well,
The big old one.
Me and my sister, when we had a Genesis, we just had Sonic games and we rented from Blockbuster, and we rented Street Fighter, and we had to do the whole like press start to switch from kicking to punching thing because we only had the 3-button controller. Oh man, those were the days of inconvenience. Let's go, Charles. Word from our non-sponsors, because we are this is not going to be a long episode, right? We'll talk about baseball after this, and then we'll probably not much from the NBA, and we'll head into the cage after that. All right?
Yep, that works.
So let's do it, because I showed up late, but people, places, things, concepts, what have you that we've been enjoying over the last week. I'm gonna go first.
Go for it.
All right, Charles. I remember a long time ago, you had mentioned that sometimes you just need to pamper yourself. Or it may have been Aziz Ansari's character in Parks and Rec. Might have been you, or both of you. Who knows?
It's both. It's
Yeah.
both. Treat yourself.
So in any case, I did. I did this past weekend. All right, we had my birthday episode and stuff like that. My sister was like, "What would you like?" And I'm like, "You know what? I could use a good facial. just like, just get over there. You know, I got not great skin. It was time. My face was dry. I was feeling like I need rejuvenation in my life because I'm getting old." So my sister paid for it. Very expensive place to go, but man, it is absolutely relaxing as all hell. I went to this place called Smy's Pro Med Spa in Wellington. Okay, next to the Wellington Mall. There it is. The place is just classy as all hell.
Looks fancy.
Yeah, it is super fancy. You got massages, you got the Botox. Phrasing is not a thing anymore. Believe me, BU, phrasing is much a thing here. Okay,
We're woke culture.
I've watched enough Archer to know phrasing. So I did, yeah, I treated myself to a nice facial. Okay, and I hope people do take this out of context. But yes, it is nice and fancy. I had a technician come in and look at my face and determine what I needed to rejuvenate, bring myself back to life. It's about an hour there, just laying down and just frickin' let them go to town. And I've been here before. I've been here for massages and all kinds of stuff, man. Have you ever had I mean, Charles, you know, you pamper yourself. You do that. You go and you get a nice, good massage. And have you ever fallen asleep?
My God, almost. So I have a monthly subscription to massages. So
Yeah.
especially if you're having that long day where you're in court and you were sweating and you had that heat and you have some like 6'10" man just destroying you like a Kit Kat bar, knock the hell out. And I wear contacts, so that's what stops me because I feel like the fluttering and I feel the contact roll.
No, I literally like I catch myself before I completely fall asleep, but you can hear like, like I am. It is so relaxing. These people are so good. All right, they got all the fancy doodads and whatnots here. Okay, but you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. So nice staff there. So yeah, that's my non-sponsor. Promo code phrasing.
Phrasing. Did you give him just a tip? Bring it back to some Archer love. They just announced a season 13. I'm like, Jesus Christ!
I'm not caught up. I have to catch up, but I gotta catch up.
I've been back since season 7 because I was just I have this bad tendency of binging shows, which I guess is my next transition to things. So it's kind of tough for me because either I'm in it to win it or I'm out. And that's why I hate everybody's like, oh, you should watch the show. Like everybody's like, watch Ted Lasso. I'm like, no, it's just not gonna happen. Watch the show. No, I can't do it because I know what happens.
I'm not paying for an Apple TV subscription. I'm just
exactly. But even if it wasn't on
Apple Plus
TV,
or whatever,
the issue is that I would watch something, binge it, but I don't binge things from start to finish most of the time. I'll binge it for 5 hours worth of television, and then I'll just stop. It's what happened to me in The Witcher, and they got season 2 coming out, and I just have a mad crush on Henry Cavill, and I should finish it, but I'm like, man, it's Geralt. He kills things. Okay. However, about 2-3 anime is weird. Anime is weird. That's how I'm going to start this. There's some animes that kind of just call to me, just like how some regular TV shows call to me. Well, I feel like I'm in a situation in life where I'm like, I just need to watch a little. I just need a little hit. I just need a little fix.
I just watched a really weird one, so.
Well, this one's not weird, but this one's just exceptional. And the thing is, man, I've watched this before. I've done a complete, ass to elbows, beginning to end of it about 2-3 years ago. And I don't know what happened, but 3 weeks ago, I was like, because I've mentioned a lot of anime in my non-sponsors for a while. I have talked about My Hero Academia, which I guess still watch season 5. No. I haven't finished season 4 of Attack on Titan, even though I was so close, and that's what I hate about myself sometimes. But I was thinking to myself, man, how did Yu Yu Hakusho do with this thing again? And I went on the YouTube, and I'm like, I saw like 1 or 2 scenes. I'm like, I'm gonna rewatch this. This is on Hulu. I'm gonna do this. I don't need Crunchyroll, and Funimation. I'm just gonna rewatch itself. And
Watch
what
cartoons online.
right? So Yu Yu Hakusho, what came into it was the theme song, Smile Bomb. You know, it's very optimistic, stuff like that. And what led me to thinking about Yu Yu Hakusho was, man, I think it really had one of those great endings. Because me and my buddy Houdini were talking about how a certain anime is not going to have a good ending based off the manga. And then I'm like, oh, I
Wait,
thought this might be
Netflix
thing.
is
And
gonna
then,
have a live action series?
yeah, but
Okay.
Netflix, they're also doing live action Cowboy Bebop, and I'm going to hate it and I'm going to love it at the same time.
Ooh,
They
who are
had,
they
they
casting
released,
for that?
you don't know?
I don't know.
Oh, buddy, I'm gonna go on the side thing real quickly. Yu Hakusho is my non-sponsor, but I'm gonna go a side thing to Inform Francisco.
They
John Cho is Spike Spiegel. You have
Oh, I gotta
another
look
guy
this
that was
up.
in Luke Cage as Bushmaster, who is going to be Jet. You're gonna have Danielle Pineda as Faye. They have a dog as Ein. There's no announcement. And Alex Hassel from The Boys is Vicious, but I saw him in the hair in this newest trailer with the wig, and it's
Huh.
spot on. I'm like shocked. Elena
Okay.
Sentine's going to be Julia, and she kind of looks the type into it. It's not going to work, but it's going to be enough for me because you're talking about like just the reverent of
Hmm.
anime when you talk about Cowboy Bebop. But to bring it back to Yu Yu Hakusho, I would say Yu Yu Hakusho's up there. Like if you have anime, it was always DBZ was the introductions on Toonami, and then came some other stuff. It was Yu Yu Hakusho, it was Rurouni Kenshin, Gundams and stuff like that. And Cowboy Bebop, of course. But Yu Yu Hakusho, it just has a lot of likable characters. Kuwabara apparently is me. Like there's a scene where he goes to go fight somebody, he may or may not die, and he just goes and says, "Something happens to me, take care of my cat." As I look at my cat, who's right across from me taking a nap, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty much Kuwabara. He's a dweeb. Love me something he ate." When I remember watching the show as a kid, I never finished it completely, and then when I watched it 3 years ago, on Hulu allowed me to finish the whole entire thing. I'm like, boy, Karama's just a badass. He might be my favorite. Yoko Karama coming in to switch between the spirit, his regular human body, and then his spirit. And then Yusuke is good. And I'm just about to finish Dark Tower, or not Dark Tower, Dark Tournament. I'm thinking Dark Tower because that's the one I'm listening to. But Dark Tournament, and it's just so addictive to watch everything. It might be one of the best arcs out there. And it's just so dang good, man. The animation, it shows its age a little bit, 1992 to 1995, but the story is simple. Yu Hakusho, it's Yusuke Urameshi, sacrifices his life to save a kid from getting ran over by a car. He gets put up by Koema and Botan, who's like a reaper in that sense, and they say, hey, you want to keep your life, go back into it, go be a detective and go deal with the spirit world and demon world and the apparitions. It's kind of martial arts, kind of not martial arts, but interesting energy stuff, great side characters. I like Sensui as a villain, or Shinobu. I think it's a very interesting arc, and that's good enough for people to watch it in itself to get to there. The final arc is not necessarily needed, but it's like a big epilogue. But you're talking about 100 something episodes, addictive theme songs, even the ending theme songs are good. Sayonara, bye bye. Please take care of yourself. I'm blessed out right now and sing to you guys. I enjoy it a lot. It's a lot of fun. Watch it on Hulu. Watch it on Funimation. Watch it. The English dub is good too. I'm a dub guy. I don't like the sub unless I really have to. Um, but it still stands tall, man. And I think once I'm done with it, I'll finally finish the last 3 episodes of Attack on Titan that I have to watch until the new season comes out, and then I'll go back to Black Clover. But very big fan of it. Yu Yu Hakusho, promo code Ghost Files.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All
You ever
right.
watch it? Inquire.
Mm.
Inquire here. Have you ever watched it
I have not. I mean,
or indulged
it's
me,
on the list. It's on the. It's on the.
buddy?
Oh, I just watched one called Watamote. This is oh god, it is it's about a high school hold on, let me the English translation of the show uh is Watamote was it let's see. No matter oh yeah, here it is. Watamote, no matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault. I'm unpopular.
Yeah, that sounds right. Of course they take like a one-word thing to just expand into a full sentence.
Yeah, it's about a girl. She's not popular, but she's got this she is a lot of people in high school.
You also like that
A
slice
lot
of
of
life anime too.
I know, but this is not slice of life like the other slice of life where it's like kind of generic in a way. This is a little more extreme, a little more lewd too. So that's the reason I like it. It goes a little more to that, and it's from the perspective of a girl, which is interesting. Another popular one. It's fun. It's stupid, but it's fun. Yeah, no, she's got it's constantly from her internal dialogue, and it's literally a lot of people's high school experience that are introverts and things like that. So part of that resonates with me for sure. Okay, all right, Charles. Baseball. Big booty daddy.
I'm gonna be
Giancarlo
the most.
Stanton.
No, he's Daddy Yankee, man.
I
At
miss
this
him
point,
now.
Whew. Let it be known, I was the only man supporting him.
Yeah.
This entire
No
season.
matter how much he struck out from slider low and away. But no, he's actually his strikeout rate's down now. Like him and Aaron Judge. Well, literally, it's those two guys putting the Yankees on their back.
Right now, because we're gonna hype up, Aaron Judge had a homer and he just had a sacrifice fly to take the lead against Toronto. There's big games going on.
This is the gauntlet, by the way. Okay, so all right, picture right now. So this is it. The rest of the races are pretty much done. The National League is done, right? I mean, really, it's only the NL East, and it's like the Phillies and the Braves, and I don't care who's gonna win that one. And then like the Brewers, the Dodgers, and the Giants are fighting for whoever wins the West, but whatever. And then the Cardinals are probably gonna win the World Series if they keep playing like this. American League, Central's done, West is done, East is done. Wild card: A's, Mariners, Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox. Yankees. The gauntlet right now because they got the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Okay?
No, we have
and the Rays.
We had the Blue Jays and the Rays.
No, I'm just saying, but from last week, here, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, and the Rays have already clinched. So they'll probably, unless they're trying to go for like
and both the Red Sox and the Blue Jays get the Orioles.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is just auto wins.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so set up right now. So the Yankees have this. Red Sox and Orioles have that. And Blue Jays have that. So we've got these teams, and it'll probably come out of the American League East because the Mariners are somehow winning, and they have an off. I mean, have you seen their run differential? It's like minus 70 or something like that.
They're winning in spite of losing.
Exactly. They should not be where they are right now, but they are. Okay? I don't know what it is, but they're there. The A's are not going to make it. They had it, but they've been too inconsistent to be able to kind of pull it off here this last week. And the Jays with their mad run going into September, and now they're there, right? They're there. And the Red Sox and the Yankees, kind of like they were kind of playing at 500, not doing so hot. Looked like the Mariners and the Blue Jays were going to take their spots. But now, both teams turned it on. Both teams asserting their dominance. Both teams go head-to-head in a 3-game series at Fenway Park. The New York Yankees versus the Boston Red Sox. The rivalry. Here we go, Charles. Giancarlo Stanton. Say this about him. The man comes to play when he's needed the most.
Tell him the stats, Francisco.
3 home runs, Charles. Not only 3 home runs, but 3 home runs in the most clutch of moments. Okay, these aren't garbage time home runs either. This isn't like a solo shot in the first inning to start things out. No, these are crucial moments. And Saturday, Charles. Bases loaded for Senor Stanton. And what does he do? He sends one off to Gillette Stadium. That's what he does. Because that thing landed in Foxborough, probably. My God. Wow.
And I'm bringing it back since I'm not doing fantasy football this year.
3-game sweep.
Big Besos. He gets a big Beso.
And the Boston Red Sox. Alex Cora. The revenge tour. Charles.
This matters. This matters mightily to me.
Okay, Charles. Let me. Does Alex Cora not making the playoffs matter more than Aaron Boone getting fired?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's a twofold way. It's us leading to them getting fired, or I'm sorry, not fired,
Mm.
us leading to them getting eliminated because they need at least win one of those games.
Yep.
And it didn't happen. They have an easy schedule. Like they're playing Baltimore, but they're losing, which only we lose to Baltimore. So don't give me hope. I'm a man of statistics.
Oh, Charles, do
Okay.
you know what today is? It's the 10th
What's up today?
anniversary of Game 162, when another wild card race. Was it the wild card or the American League East? No, it was the wild card, right? With the Boston Red Sox were trying to make the playoffs. Looked like they had it in hand facing the Baltimore Orioles, and then the Rays needed to beat the Yankees, and then subsequently have the Red Sox lose.
Is that the chicken and beer controversy? Which
No,
led to
no,
Tito
no.
losing
This was the game 162 that led to us having the wild card game, where the Cardinals and the Rays punched their ticket on the last day,
the tiebreaker, right?
and the Red Sox choked in their game against the Baltimore Orioles, who they're facing right now, when the Yankees were like stomping the Rays, and the Rays made it had the epic comeback. Even though we could say the Yankees probably wanted the Red Sox out, right? Come on now. Come on now. There was the 2011 Yankees, Joe Girardi, Jeters, our Lord and Savior was still in the club. Like, you knew. You knew if they could find a way to screw over the Red Sox, they could, right? And they would. And they did by losing that game because they already had the AL East locked up. So, anyways, Charles, here we
Well,
go.
they have Baltimore and then Washington for the next series, and I'm really hoping Washington is a trap game. I'm really hoping that them being like, hey, we just got rid of expensive players. At 65-92, I don't have much hope.
Juan Soto can carry the Nationals through 3 games at the very least, I think. Play spoiler.
I did the stats. I need the Baltimore Orioles between the next 6 days to win 4 games. Because they play both Boston and Toronto.
Yeah.
They just need to win 2 each, 3 of 1, something, because it's tough math, man. I don't like this stuff. I didn't go to law school to do math. This is the most thought process.
By the way, everybody, the Baltimore Orioles are currently tied for the worst record in baseball, and they need to tank. So you've got the most epic of tanks trying to make this happen and spoiling the Red Sox and the Jays. We will see.
Do you remember that episode of South Park? I was watching this clip earlier, and it can be more relevant than right now, where the South Park kids are trying not to go to the Little League World Series, and they're going against the other kids that don't want to go.
Arm the bat dad.
This is literally what it feels like for me, and I can't do this anymore.
I thought this was America. Oh, this is America.
What do you want to do?
You're the best around.
But the big bad booty daddy is trying for us. Aaron Judge, just pay him. I'm accepting it. Just pay him. He's doing this. Like he might break 40 home runs, and Giancarlo might break 40 home runs. And here's another stat from what I saw earlier today. I believe Giancarlo had 10 RBIs total in that 3-game series.
Yep.
What?
He's
American
League Player of the Week. Yep.
My God. And Giancarlo, once again, I've been behind you all season. But this is good. This is what you want as a casual, non-casual baseball fan. This is what you want as a diehard fan. But you asked me if it means more if Alex Cora loses instead of Boone getting fired. I just want Boone to get fired. But I also don't want to miss the playoffs because here's the problem. We're so close to taste it that I can't live with that concept. It's not like we're just 60 wins and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that, man. You're already there. Let's go from there. I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. There was 2 years with 2-14, 3-13. It didn't hurt. It hurt less to be that bad than to be 9-7 for 3 years straight and not make the playoffs. You know, that shit hurts. That's the 10-6 Dolphins, and they don't get to do it because of other things. Because you're really you really weigh into what game. Because I think what's going to haunt us was losing that series, the series sweep that happened with Toronto, because that's what led to this damnation that we're feeling right now. And I don't want that. It's no bueno. And especially since we're getting productivity this season from 2 guys who were not productive, who were more hype and potential.
More made out of glass.
Yeah, and considering the fact that our bullpen's just terrible, straight up. Like, you know who's starting today and why I was panicking? Because it was Tyon. who started,
Oh,
and I was like, oh no. If anybody's been kind of
against that,
tracking, they
look,
knew.
hey, that Jays offense.
But here's the problem. Here's the thing. Boone played it smart. He only kept Tyon in for 2 innings.
Oh,
I
he
couldn't
knows.
believe
He
it.
finally knows.
I was in shock. I'm like, oh, because we also have Severino back, and he's obviously not going
They
to be
literally
starting.
they
But
cannot afford to lose any
a Jameson
games.
Tyon meltdown,
Yeah, because what if
like
you lose, the Jays are immediately right there. So yeah.
it comes into it. Well, I think the math is that the Jays are 2 games behind
Right
us,
now,
and
right now. Okay, yeah. So the Yankees are in the first wild card spot, 1 game ahead of the Red Sox. Red Sox are 1 game ahead of the Jays, one and a half
which means the
over
Jays are 2 games behind
one
us.
and a half over the Mariners, and then the A's are 3.5, but they're done. They're gone. At this point, it's hard to come back. So yeah, yeah. Outside of something wacky happening with the Mariners, and somehow but right now, those like those Orioles games really matter, and it's the bottom of the 7th inning at this moment between the O's and the Sox. The J A 4-game losing streak for the Red Sox right now. Ooh, morale is gonna go down.
I'm not a man of faith and prayer. I think I keep that in between. I don't want to chance it with sports because I've been hurt before. But this is one of those times where I'll go to a pew and a pedestal. I'll put $1 in the donation, and I'm just like, for the love of God, just let Baltimore win 4 games. Just let them do it. 4 games, because they might still have their tank. Because and here's the problem too. You know what the messed up part is? We could beat the Jays. The Jays can still make the playoffs. I don't know if I want to play that team.
In a
I
one
really
game
don't.
playoff at Yankee Stadium.
Give me Alex Cora.
The short porch,
Please.
that offense.
Give me Alex Cora, because Vladdy's still Vladdy. It's ridiculous. And then Simeon's kind of back and being consistent, and Bichette, and then Gurriel's even doing okay. Springer, I don't want that smoke. I really don't. Give me Boston, who we just kind of demoralized. Please. I'm in your head. If we lose, right? But it's like, you know how it is. There's just certain teams that you're like, we don't want that.
Yeah, if you guys face the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium, you guys probably win.
Yeah, and I'll just hitch my britches on Garrett Cole and be like, you give me Garrett Cole and a night game, not 4 o'clock. Give me him at 7 p.m. and give me Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, knowing what's at stake. And they made the proper defensive shifts because they moved Glaber back to second base because he wasn't getting it done at shortstop, which is probably the end of his term with us because you couldn't adapt fully to what we need you to be. I think we have Gio Urshela, who was our third baseman, is now being our shortstop. I rather just roll with Cole, Judge, and Big Bad Booty Daddy Yankee, and just hitch my britches on that against the Red Sox instead of us. Because here's the thing, Robbie Roberts, whatever the guy's name is, Robbie Ray, the pitcher there.
Yeah.
He's hot right now. And then there's still Barrios, who is nothing to kind of laugh at. And I think if they're going to kind of set in that wild card game, it would be their 1s or 2s coming into it. I don't want that smoke, man. I don't want that smoke with Jose Barrios and all of them. I'm like, no, thank you. I'll pass the Robbie Ray coming into it, because Robbie Ray, I originally thought, because I don't know if Ryu is still playing well, but I originally thought Garrett Cole was going to be in line for the AL Cy Young. The problem is that even though I think they beat him statistically everywhere else, voters just care too much about ERAs, and with Cole pushing out like a 3 ERA now and Ray coming in with the 3.68 or 2.68, it's like, all right, we already know where they're going to go with this. But I think Cole has higher strikeout rate and then higher innings pitched, and I'm just going to be in haunting. I don't want to play them. They strike fear.
All right.
I think everybody thinks that they're going to be a World Series team in years to come, and I don't disagree.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall. Okay, so yeah, and then the Braves are beating the Phillies right now. Yeah, the Braves are going to win the division. Never mind. Never mind. Phillies are not going to. Man, the Phillies squandered the whole freaking month. They had the easiest strength of schedule to finish out the season, and they squandered it. Okay. All right. So, I think that's it. Charles, let's head on over to the cage.
Alrighty, welcome everybody. Your weekly Truplex The Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer: wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It is a staged fight. It is a song and dance. It's poetry in motion. It is a soap opera. It's about men and women trying to beat the holy hell out of each other, trying to impact their legacy and expand and be memorable in the Mount Rushmores of wrestling, or just getting paid. Man, that's all it's about. Coming at the end of the day, a couple things happened. We're going to keep this to just AEW and to WWE for the sake of time and also just interest. Because, of course, what do we know? When we do shows on Tuesday, but so much stuff happens on a Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, in fact, or even Tuesday after we get off the show. Charles is taking his little notes, got my little, Clark Kent glasses going on. Be like, all right, what are we going to do? Going with AEW, they had Dynamite Grand Slam and Rampage Grand Slam. It's kind of one of those big things that they were kind of going on, the little big events. The big highlight of it was it's not Daniel Bryan anymore, it's Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega in a non-title match. It's really trying to see who the best in the world was. I've watched the YouTube clips. I have not watched the full match, so I can only comment on so much because I was at the gym, trying to get like Daniel Bryan and get all kind of buff and rip. Actually, I'm trying to get like Roman. That man is huge. From the highlights I saw was good. I don't know about the ending, and apparently when I talked to my other buddy about it, he was saying I was being fickle. It ended in a draw. It went 30 minutes. They started the match out first, so they didn't have as much congestion with the commercials, which I appreciate, considering the fact that the one thing I hate on both AEW and on NXT is the picture-in-picture quality and straight to commercials because it really ruins the match flow. But I know it was good. I expected of it. This is what Bryan Danielson wanted to kind of go out for, to really challenge himself and be more impactful and violent in his way of wrestling. Violent not to draw blood, but violent to up his moves and antes. I don't know how I feel about the draw because you get no resolution to it. I think it's also a very homage to Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada from a couple years back at their pay-per-view matches, not Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was New Year Dash. It's one of the two that they had to drop. Also, for me, it's like if it was a non-title match, you could just have Danielson win and you could set up the rematch at Revolution if you truly chose to. My buddy disagrees and says, no, the whole thing is about seeing who's the best wrestler, and it meant nothing. But it meant something. Their whole concept, like who is really the best wrestler, and it comes into a draw, and then now they're going to be going for a title. When Bryan came in, he was like, one day we'll go for that title, but I want to see who's the best of us going. So Kenny has already lost an Impact Championship to Christian. I like the idea of maybe having him lose the Impact title. The Young Bucks, his entourage, his boys, had lost their tag titles at Lucha Bros. Have Kenny lose not meaningless, but have Kenny lose a non-title match, and then he becomes even more paranoid. Because what am I doing, Francisco? I'm playing this silly game of, if I booked it, this is the story that I would tell. Because now with Hangman Page, I don't know if he's coming back or not anytime soon. I think he's off show to take time off either to heal or to be with his pregnant wife. I'm not going to speculate to what the actual determination was. I think it's always good to take some people off TV anyway, so there's no fatigue and they heal and they get rejuvenated, and also the fans come back into them. But it just makes more sense to me where Kenny has literally beaten everybody for a year plus, and you have somebody in a non-title match when really it meant nothing, beat him, and then you're like, oh, I beat you once, I can beat you again, and you cause that doubt. Because what do you call that? Character showing, character development. You kind of want that, right? That's just me. That's how I do things. Other matches that are on there: Sting wrestled a tag team match against FTR, formerly known as the Revival, in NXT. It was a damn good match, I gotta admit. Sting, who's like 62, doing stinger splashes, treating it right. He wanted to go out the right way, putting somebody over and having fun because he couldn't do that in WWE. He did a stinger splash. Dax and Dash did a good job kind of helping out, and then Darby was there. Still not crazy about Darby. We'll see. Cody Rhodes, Malachi Black. It was fine. It was okay. Britt Baker, Ruby Soho, main evented that match. It was fine. Main evented that show. It was good. They had a Rampage, which was CM Punk. That's their Friday show on TNT. It had CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs. That was decent. And then I think Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer teamed up against, we love Minoru Suzuki, teamed up against each other to go against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. I didn't watch Rampage. I'm just going the stats there. Do I have beef with some booking? No. You know what the big concern I have about AEW, buddy? they're going to start introducing more titles. The first thing that they're thinking about is doing a trios title. So what's that mean? There's 6-man tag team matches. They're going to make belts for those. Okay, there's like 60 plus wrestlers on that stable. Maybe it makes fine. Everybody's in a faction these days. Faction being a group, a unit, a squad, just like Sports Goofs. You all are part of Goofs Nation. So imagine if myself, Francisco, and Andrew wouldn't have title belts. Oh, that could be a good holiday gift. We're defending those championships against other podcasts. We're defending against Gottlieb Goons. It's okay. Against Doug Gottlieb, Ben Simmons, and then Dabo Sweeney. We're gonna bring those guys down. We're gonna bring them down. I can get behind it, but then there's a rumor about having a TBS title. So, there's a TNT title. Dynamite is broadcasted on TNT. Rampage is broadcasted on TNT. What's happened is Dynamite's going over to TBS starting in 2022. Rampage is rumored to stay in on TNT, but they're thinking about doing a TBS title to make it kind of exclusive. And they're thinking about putting it as a title for a second women's division. And I'm not crazy about that. 2 reasons. One, the dearth of your women's roster is very limited. 2, don't make too many prop gimmicks, because isn't the whole problem that people complain about, my dogs are barking, but people complain about Raw and SmackDown is the fact that they have too many titles and they want to unify titles. They want to have one single women's wrestling champion as opposed to Raw women's champion, SmackDown, or the tag team belts. I'd rather just unify the tag belts, personally speaking. But we're kind of creating the same problem. I mean, yes, we have a big roster, and no, we don't want to fire anybody. But isn't the only solution, instead of creating more prop titles, especially if you're in your infancy of 2 years, you're not even on year 3 yet fully, isn't a better solution just to press more young people and just give them their thing and not have the full Forbidden Door thing that Charles has been against? But now we're just creating prop titles because it's the idea of you need props to be interesting, because your storylines, can you create storylines without props? That's the hard part, right? Think about it. Think about being a writer for wrestling. I can't speak. A writer for wrestling or a booker for wrestling, Francisco. It's easy to say, you have title, I want title, you can give me that title. My title, I don't lose this title. I'll fight you on my terms and conditions. I gave you storyline, heel, and face. Try to tell a story that doesn't have a championship. Take that motivating piece out of there, because a title and a championship is going to be something that you look for your legacy, for any kind of ceremony or pomp and circumstances. So go ahead and try to create me a storyline when it's just 2 people want to beat each other. So is it I don't like you, well, I don't like you, but what do you guys not like each other for? What are we doing into it? It's much harder than substance. You think. You need substance, and wrestling community is super fickle, but we all agree that if I just want to watch great wrestling, I'll just watch New Japan. If you're on TNT or USA or Fox, I kind of want a little bit of that entertainment too. I need a little bit of that soap opera drama. You got to give it to me. So what are we going to get from it? Adding more titles is something that's still, it has its footing, but it has one foot. Where's the other footing come into? Because I had to suffer 10 months of, almost 10 months. Sorry, Jericho, you're going to hate me for this, but I had to suffer 10 months of him and MJF just to get to this point. So if you're going to give me a title to help kind of like fix that, I'll take it. But that's just an example. I would say my dogs are really going crazy. They must want food. Anywho, we love dogs here at Sports Goofs, and cats as well. That's why I like Kuwabara and his cat. Going to WWE, there was a pay-per-view, buddy. Extreme Rules. As you know, it's a gimmick pay-per-view. Gimmick being that there's supposed to be some kind of thing coming out of it that you all should be supportive of, where it's either tables, ladders, chairs, Iron Man matches, whatever. Extreme Rules usually means it's no DQ, no disqualification, anything goes. First head scratcher that came into this was that there was only one Extreme Rules match. That's right. Everything else was a regular match. But the matches were so dang good. I watched the entire pay-per-view. I thought about it, and I said, do I want to play video games? I wasn't in the mental state. I was too tired. I didn't want to play video games. Or do I want to watch Aaron Rodgers and let him steal 3 hours of my life? No, ma'am and sir. I'm not letting that happen. I know the hate train's still on Seattle, and it's going to be all season, but I'm not going to lose my precious time on this earth watching that man and his steely blue eyes just destroy another man's steely blue eyes and Jimmy Garoppolo in a battle of QBs. I did catch the last 7 minutes, though, because the pay-per-view ended early. So Extreme Rules happened. It was very good, man. It was very enjoyable. there was two controversial finishes that happened, but from start to finish, I enjoyed it. They opened with a 6-man tag match of the New Day with new world champion Big E going against Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, and Amos. Then you had the Street Profits versus the Usos, which was very good at the end. I felt like it was missing something a little bit. That surprise match of the night, or almost match of the night, was Alexa Bliss. That's right, that Alexa Bliss, who's been given basically the Fiend gimmick against Charlotte Flair for the Raw title. And I thought that was going to be a bathroom break. I didn't want to watch it. I wasn't going to be interested in it. Watched it top to finish. I liked it. I liked everything about it. It's not like match of the year or anything like that, but the story that they told, Charlotte trying to bring back the old Alexa, Charlotte just kind of messing with her by, throwing the doll at her face that she has Lily, the little avatar, I guess, of her humanity or demonic soul. It was my cup of tea. It was good wrestling too. The ladies really put it out there. And then came the triple threat match of Damian Priest defending his United States Championship against Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. People love Jeff Hardy, man. If Andrew was here right now, we'll talk to you about Jeff Hardy. We love Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is respected in the culture, and the crowd was hot. And that's kind of what I missed about the live crowds, is that they can really take a match on paper that should have been meh to a degree and really just put some, liveliness. It's basically putting adobo on your chicken, kids. Y'all want that plainness, that dried white meat?
Oh, well, I just went to the meat store. Oh.
He went to the meat store. I'm surprised it's not your non-sponsor. But people putting in that.
No, I've done wild fork before. I think. But yeah. Oh, okay, dude, I got some venison.
Venison is always a good cut.
I almost went for ostrich. Maybe
have you ever had ostrich before?
No, I have not. I can't.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
I like it. It's pretty good.
Oh, but the big thing was buying the pork belly. Oh, I'm gonna go to town on the pork belly.
Pork belly is so good. I can never cook it, but it's so good. I don't think I could cook it because I'll literally just have a pork belly sandwich. I won't portion control it or anything like that. I'll just slap it in my mouth and just let my juices celebrate coming into it. So the triple threat match was good. And then the two matches tonight that I thought were both good, and then the endings. It's one of those times where some people hated the endings to both, and then I got to them, and I'm like, I can live with it because I've seen Vince do much worse. But Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch was a very good match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Backstory: Becky came back after being gone from having her baby, being pregnant, having her baby. She shows up at the SummerSlam match, beats Bianca like 26 seconds, and I felt like Vince was just doing this to get Bianca over because Bianca's not doing it for me as a babyface. I rather think she works as a heel. Anybody, Francisco, who says they are the EST of the division should be a heel when they're saying we're the best, we're the fastest, we're the strongest, we're the smartest, we're the hardest. That to me screams heel. It doesn't scream like – because the idea is like, do you want your babyface to be humble? Yes. I don't want them to be braggadocious, so – we want to do that, but Vince is intent on putting as a babyface. But the match was actually very good, technically sound. I was into it. I wasn't looking at my phone or anything. And then they ended it with a DQ. And it wasn't Becky tried to cheat to win. She was about to get put into the KOD. And then Sasha Banks, who Bianca beat at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship, came in and interfered. The same Sasha Banks, who was supposed to be the match at SummerSlam, but for some reason wasn't there. And it's not even like we play the game of if I booked it, this is how I would do it. It wasn't even a cinch of like Sasha came in, cost Bianca the title by either A, attacking Becky, or B, like just hitting Bianca and allowing Becky to beat her. It was just like straight up, she's about to KOD Becky, she just comes in, hits her, and it just kind of took the steam out. And yes, it's going to set up a triple threat on Friday Night SmackDown. Okay, I don't watch SmackDown, man. I don't have Fox. They won't be like Paramount or what's the other, Peacock, and just have me pay $5 a month to do it. They want to be a pain in my butt, so it's whatever. But I don't like when you have a very involved match have an abrupt ending. That bothers me. It was a good match, but it bothered me. And then we get to the main event. You see him on the screen. You're a tribal chief. Roman Reigns. Look at him. He's so beautiful. He's got good hair. He's literally like the equivalent of the big bad booty daddy for me over in New York with I'm looking at the scores. I'm getting like anxiety watching this Baltimore scoreboard.
Let's see. Oh, hey, Tony's House from D Live. Welcome. You like wrestling? We're talking about wrestling right now.
We're talking about wrestling at the end of the show, as always, for the most part. So it was him versus not the Fiend. I almost said the Fiend. The Demon, Finn Balor.
Even I know that's a mistake.
That's the no-nos, right? Yeah. But you have the Demon. What? How's it going wild? Excuse them, everybody, when you hear them. They're just so
supportive of Roman Reigns, just like he's the big dog. The dogs love him. It's great. So you have Finn Balor going in, and um, he had his regular personality, and every now and then he channeled the demon to go up to that next level to bring something out of him. And we've talked about Finn Balor the demon before. We talked about it specifically when he was going against Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble about 2 years ago, and how he had to be the demon to beat Bobby Lashley for the IC belt at WrestleMania. The whole idea is that if you can only bring it to an 11 when you're as a demon, why wouldn't you always be the demon? It makes no sense. He did have a good chance on that SmackDown match a couple weeks ago as regular Finn Balor, but he got choked out and the Usos interfered and all this other stuff. But you were in a booking compromise because you obviously cannot have Roman lose when he's about to go against Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia, because that's the real money right there. Ooh, the dogs agree with me too. I don't know if you can hear him, but it's amusing to me. But you can't have the Fiend lose, because the Fiend has only lost once in his entire reign in the WWE, and that's when he was in NXT against Samoa Joe. So you're really in the damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And we know Roman was going to win, but the idea is, how do you beat a mythological or demonic spiritual entity possessing a Irishman that is Finn Balor? And the solution was, let Vince McMahon figure it out. And, ooh, buddy, that was not the most popular decision. The match itself was very good. Violence, it was Extreme Rules. There was the ultimate heel move, Francisco, where they went to the crowd to beat each other up. And before Roman went to the crowd, do you know what he did? He asked Paul Heyman, his special counselor, to give him a mask. So Roman literally stops, puts on a mask, and goes and beats Finn's ass. It is the ultimate heel move. I loved it. And then Pat McAfee has just been a gem on commentary. Just makes it better. It's like, y'all aren't even worth, breathing the same air as the tribal chief. I'm like, this is beautiful. And then it comes back into the ring. You have Finn just kind of like walloping him, and Roman's walloping him, and it leads to this really weird segment where Finn is just kind of on the ground, the demon's on the ground, Roman's on the ground, and then it goes red. And I got a little excited, Francisco, because every time you saw a red light, who is that synonymous with? The Fiend.
Oh,
so I'm like, oh my God, they brought it back.
Oh, no.
Vince trolled me. But instead, you see the red lights, and then what happened was you hear the doot, and it's the Fiend's theme, not the Fiend, the Demon's theme song. And then like the Demon came back with like some kind of resurrection and just went to hell to beat up Roman. Drop kicks him through a table. I'm like, holy, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then he puts him into the ring, and he goes up to do his coup de grace. And you're like, oh God, what's going to happen? And this is how it ends. The top rope breaks out of nowhere. Finn just falls down, falls over, clapping his knee, like what just happened? And Roman spears him, and you get the 1, 2, 3. And a lot of people weren't happy with it. I was okay with it because sometimes I rationalize an abuser, and that's what Vince McMahon is to me in my little wrestling fandom. And my thought process was like, oh, the demonic aura was just too much, and the rope couldn't sustain such high power, and the rope just broke. And then Finn went away from thinking that he's the demon, and then he went back to regular Finn, and his body was damaged, and Roman got up with a spear, and that was the 1, 2, 3. That's like how I dealt with it, and by that logic, which of course, here's the thing about wrestling. It's baseline. You don't get those deep analytical thought processes because you're really leaving to the hands of a geriatric 76-year-old who is really outdated sometimes. So that's how I rationalize it. And I've seen worse endings, so I was fine with that ending. It pissed off a lot of people. But I have also seen an ending where it was the Fiend going against Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell, where everything goes, Francisco, and there was referee stoppage. So how does that happen? It's like saying, oh, it's a fight to the death, but no one's going to die today. So I was fine with it. But now it's on to the next one. Is the Demon protected? Sure. Is Finn Balor still protected? Sure. Is there always an idea that maybe he's going to be the one to beat Roman? Maybe. Is this all sights are going to be on Roman and Brock Lesnar October 26th? Yeah. Is Charles going to watch October 26th? Yeah, because I want to see it. But a bigger thing's happening. It's going to start Friday and then continue until Monday, and it's going to lead to our show Tuesday, because it's going to be about theories and predictions. There's going to be the draft. And as you know, the draft is kind of rigged. But it's going to be basically superstars switching to either SmackDown or Raw. So you might get somebody who's on Raw going on SmackDown, vice versa. You may get champions switching. They might break up some teams. Who knows? They're going to call up some NXT people. The higher ups at both USA and Fox have already been notified who's going to be switched. And I think you have to appease USA a little bit. I've already told you that Fox has been just too dominant, top heavy, especially since they both now have Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar. But the idea could be that you can draft them onto USA. I mean, I think Bianca Belair is going to Raw. I think Sasha Banks is going to go to Raw. That's going to help out that division a little bit. Maybe you fix the tag teams. It's a good reset, I would hope. But the problem is that Vince, every time he does these drafts, he makes it worse, because what he does is he literally just continues feuds by putting the same people over. Case in point, for example, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio. All last summer, they were feuding. And then Ray gets put on SmackDown. You're like, oh, this is great. And then Seth gets put on SmackDown. You're like, what the hell, man? I don't want to see this feud continue. And it continues a little bit. I'm like, come on, man. They do that. Not a fan, but I'm hoping they do some things. And then I'll leave you onto Monday Night Raw, because I hate this man. I hate Vince McMahon. 3 weeks in a row, Francisco, he has got me to watch wrestling on a Monday when there has been Monday Night Football. And part of that is due to the fact that, the games themselves have been subpar, but sometimes you'll still watch them. However, big sweaty men slapping meat against each other, Francisco, that's what was last night, because Big E and Bobby Lashley were going for the WWE Championship as the first match of Raw, and then it got stopped because the New Day interfered when the reunited Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley's old stable of Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, came in. MVP is currently on the injured reserve, as we'll call it, for wrestling, because he had surgery in real life. He'll be back in like 4 to 6 weeks, but then they interfere. So they're like, we're going to finish this in a cage match later that night. So I'm like, what? Are you telling me 2 big muscular men slapping meat in a cage? I'm watching that. So I watched it at 8:40 10:40 when I popped that on. And it was so good of Bobby Lashley and Big E just beating the hell out of each other in the cage. And it really told a good story of Big E. Maybe he's not up to level. Maybe he can't do it. Maybe him just cashing the money in the briefcase on Bobby was just a lucky chance. And then it just ends with Big E doing the big ending from the top rope with the cage assistant. And it was prime. It was like the quad. It's the Dave's double from Wendy's. You know you want it. You know you need it. You get on the medium, and you are satiated. And at the very end, as you saw him, Drew McIntyre comes out with his damn sword and points it at Big E, saying, I'm next in line. I personally think Drew is going to go to SmackDown and beat Roman for the belt, because that's where the story, it's long-term booking. That's what happened last November when they were at Survivor Series and Roman had a cheat to beat him and all this stuff when it was title, just champions going against each other with no title at stake. But that's Vince's boy. He's going to do what he wants. But I will be okay with Drew and Big E if it helps solidify Big E more. I'm more interested in seeing Big E versus AJ Styles for a title to help establish Big E's credibility as a champ. And also possibly, I do believe Seth Rollins at the end of the day should be the one who takes the belt from Big E, because the Drip God is just doing beautiful right now. And I do believe that him versus Edge, when Edge comes back, is the match I want to watch at my Mania, man. Plain and simple. And that's really long-term booking. So I'll leave you at that. That's all I got for you this week on the Cage.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. So thanks, everybody. We're done here. Just 2 hours. Usually it's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours now. We used to be 2 hours at average. Now it's 2.5. So, anyways, see you guys next week. 116. More NFL.
We'll see how the Yankees feel.
Baseball. It's all gonna go down. It's all gonna be great. Okay, and then we'll look forward to some actual basketball and hockey. All right. Bye.
Take care.